Shalom, top of the morning. Welcome to another episode of Morning Scrolls with PAC Law. Now, this morning I already actually started on the video that I want to show y'all, right? So I stopped it and went back and started it over so y'all can check it out. Let me go ahead and get that started, right? The world as we know it, as they know it, is falling apart right before our eyes. What do we have first up on the menu this morning? What do we have first up on the menu this morning? Let's see. Well, I'll be damned if it ain't another SMICS trafficking case. I've been hearing for years that Walt Disney was a Satanist and that they show sexual images. Yeah, I got that from my homegirl, Tisa Tales. I don't know what words we can and can't say on YouTube. I ain't even really been that all into it. I just started this podcast shit real loosely, and I'm kind of learning as I go. But yeah, certain stuff we can't say, like that trafficking. But I found a video that says, as you can see, Disney employee busted in Florida human trafficking sting that nabbed 157 suspects. I wonder how many of those suspects are Disney employees. How many of them are on the Diddy tapes? Did this stem from their investigation of Diddy? So forth and so on. But I've been hearing about Disney for years. As a matter of fact, we don't even let Hunter watch Disney movies. Nothing Disney. But y'all check this out for 1 second while I go and get my coffee. What's the morning scroll without my coffee?
First, I want to introduce you to this wonderful team of folks. They, along with others, are the reason we had a remarkably successful operation called Autumn Sweep. We were joined by One More Child, Heartland for Children, DCF, Lake Wells Police, Devonport Police, Clearmont Police, Auburndale Police, St. Cloud Police, Winter Haven Fire Rescue, Lakeland Police, Haines City Police, Winter Haven Police, Haines City Police, Marion County Sheriff's Office, Lake County Sheriff's Office, Tampa Police, and the State Attorney's Office. Now, also speaking today will be Captain Ty Thompson from Lakeland, Chief Parker from Davenport, Chief Velasquez from Lake Wells, Joni Domingue from One More Child, Katie Ann Parchment from Heartland for Children. I'm going to give a brief overview of what occurred, and then we're going to focus on a couple of topics. We focus on going after the human trafficking operations, and we understand that there are live victims that we're trying to rescue every day. And then we culminate with an operation such as this with our partners. And the only reason we can be successful is because of the number of partners that we have. This operation began on October 2nd, and it only lasted 5 days because of the hurricane. So we had to cut it off early. And despite that, we made 157 arrests, 47 prostitutes, 96 Johns, and 14 for a variety of other charges. We arrested one for human trafficking. Usually it's remarkably difficult to find the human trafficker, but we did this time. We also rescued 4 potential victims of human trafficking that admitted it up front. Now, our wonderful NGOs that are here today will follow up with all of these people, because after creating a relationship and partnership, usually they identify others who, once they become accustomed to the NGOs and see that they're there to help them, may also be noticed. But we are excited that we were able to rescue 4 potential victims of human trafficking. Now, this is such a popular thing in Florida. You know, you come to Florida on vacation a lot of people want to leave on probation, and this time was was not different than any other time. People came from 9 other states in order to be arrested in Polk County, Florida. I take that as a great compliment. They were from California, New York, Nevada, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Kentucky, Wisconsin, Georgia, Arizona, and one came to us all the way from the UK. So I don't know how our jails and lockups compare to the UK, but we have a subject matter expert now. 26 of those were married. The youngest John we arrested was 15. The oldest one was 61. We added 35 new felony charges and 201 misdemeanor charges as a result of this operation. What's interesting is that there were 327 prior felony charges that had been filed against these people. So we weren't dealing with a lot of people who just stumbled in by mistake. And there were 455 prior misdemeanor charges filed against these people. Now, these that we arrested, some of the charges included 2 counts of homicide that are 2 people charged with homicide. Apparently those were all processed in the process, vehicle homicide, kidnapping, robbery, and then a sundry of other charges. So there was some very bad people that we arrested. Now, for just a moment, I want to focus on what I think is a huge concern. And that huge concern is those that came here illegally. So
before you do that, mi amigo, he said, the youngest John was 16 years old. The youngest John was 16 years old. How lame you got to be 16 in this day and age and not be able to get no coochie. These little girls out here with some straight thoughts. I turned 16 in the year 1993, September of 93. So I spent most of 93 as a 15-year-old. Back then, girls were a little bit more reserved, a little bit more prude, but Luke and the 2 Live crew was out. Easy E and Too Short was out. So it was little freaks everywhere, right? And we wasn't paying for no coochie. Not only was we not paying for it, we was offended by the idea, and then we didn't respect niggas who did. Tricking, oh my God. I grew up, like I say all the time, I grew up in the Snoop Dogg, we don't love these hoes, but we don't love you hoe, bitch, and it's like that. I grew up in that era, not in the motherfucking I'ma fuck your hoe and pay a bill. Not in that era. I'm not fucking your hoe and paying her bills. It's not happening. And I remember we used to talk this talk, and older niggas would be like, all right, you saying that now, boy, you ain't gonna pay for some pussy. Ain't no wrong paying for no pussy. You ain't tricking if you got it. You ain't tricking if you got it. Only motherfuckers I ever heard say that was tricks and hoes. Who gives a fuck what they say? So the youngest victim was 16 years old. These little girls will fuck for a shirt. And you got to pay for some coochie. You must be one of them fat incels who sit around and play Call of Duty all day long. Or something. I don't know. I hope he was trying to get some coochie and not nothing else, because you never know nowadays. So this doesn't seem to be related, or I don't know if this ain't a Disney thing. You know what I'm saying? I also noticed that they said that these are suspects that was wanted for other felonies. See, the justice system be failing us. If y'all would have had them locked up before and did what y'all was supposed to do and did y'all job, they wouldn't have been still around and still free on the street to hurt more people. You know what I'm saying? I don't be buying into all this shit they be talking. Let's go.
I'm going to roll out a couple of things for you. First, I want you to see this chart. 25 illegal immigrants were arrested in this operation. They were from Venezuela, Cuba, Colombia, Guatemala, Honduras, and Mexico. 16% of these total arrests were people who should not even have been in this country, but they were here. And they were here because we have a federal government that enabled these criminals to come into the country and then treated them very well after the criminals came here illegally. So let me share a story with you, and then I'm going to read a quote for you and then let you see a video. The prostitutes that came here, several of them had to pay off a coyote debt. Some of them said, hey, we did it because it was easy money. Others said, well, we came here and we were illegal. We couldn't get employment, so we turned to prostitution. Some of them said we were threatened and our family was threatened if we did not prostitute for the coyotes or for the human traffickers. So I'm going to tell you one story about one of our suspects, Maria, and that's not her real name. She's from Venezuela. She made a conscious decision to come to this country to commit crime. She flew into Mexico from Venezuela. She walked across from Juarez, Mexico, into El Paso, Texas, with her one-year-old child, where she was greeted by the Border Patrol. Did you hear what I said? She was greeted by the Border Patrol. There was no sneaking. She flew in, she got here, she simply walked across the open border. There is no border security at the southern border. Zero. It doesn't exist. So when she was greeted, and you'll understand why we use that term in a minute, you'll understand that she went to the Border Patrol processing, where in one day she completed the processing and was released to a facility, a holding facility, a housing facility for immigrants. She said, I was given a DNA test to make sure that my DNA matched my child's. He was given a DEA test to make sure he was really my child. She said, once that occurred, they set me down and they told me all about the benefits that I would get in this.
Check this out. The reason why the United States government is so lax with immigration and border patrol is because they want these immigrants to come. They want them to come. They want them to come and be the working class, the slave class, damn near. And the reason why they want them now all of a sudden is because the ones who have typically and traditionally been the working class, say slave class, they have no more use for. So-called African American, the Israelites of the Southern Kingdom. The Israelites from the Southern Kingdom of Judea, so-called African Americans, no longer serve the purpose for their agenda in that manner. So it's a number of motivating factors: that cheaper labor, and then also to get the dynamic that we're seeing in the neighborhood in Chicago, where these factions are going at it, right? That's all part of it.
The United States. She said I was eligible and I had to fill out these forms so that I could get those benefits. She said, so I fill forms out for Medicaid, for SNAP, which is money for food. She said I was given free travel.
So they got us taxpayers paying for this shit. Sidebar. I saw that story about that black lady who was crying because she was treated the exact opposite by the United States government, despite being born here, despite serving her country in the armed forces. And black people got to be out of their mind to go to the service for this country, like they forgot how they got here and everything that they did to us. Boy, Stockholm syndrome is real. But she found out real fast. She fucked around and found out and got her nigga wake-up call when she went to get a loan to start a business and couldn't get one. Tried to. She had to spend $25,000 out of her pocket to get her food truck, right? And she was talking about she thought that by doing everything right and going to college or doing whatever she did and paying her taxes and serving her country and being a model citizen, that this country would show her more respect than that. Like she didn't forget, like she didn't forgot what her skin looked like. When was the last time you looked in the mirror, little bitch? I'm sorry, pardon my French. I didn't mean to call that. But listen, she went, got the truck, ran the truck for however long, and decided that she was ready to sell it. And when she got ready to sell it, the foreigner who she was selling it to said that the U.S. government, he was an illegal, and said that the U.S. government gave him money to come and buy that truck. He didn't have to go get a loan. They either gave him a loan or gave him the money, right? Set him up nice. Set him up nice. Things that one of us would never be able to get, a FBA, Foundational Black American, or whatever you want to call it. We'd never be able to get that. This shit is all crooked. This government needs to be destroyed. This regime needs to be destroyed. It is not a government for and by the people. That is a lie. Always has been. Always has been. Why is it that ever since first grade, kindergarten, or whatever, they had us starting off our morning doing the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag, right? And it said to the republic for which it stands. It never said democracy, I mean. Just something to think of. Let go.
From the border to Chicago. When I got to Chicago, I couldn't find gainful employment there. So I thought, what the heck? I'll go to Florida. And then I got to fly to Florida. She was giving free housing. All because the United States paid for that. That's right. You, the taxpayers, got to pay for that.
Oh, motherfucker.
So this was all simply walking across the border. She said it was unbelievable to me. But let me read her quote, because
okay, that's a direct offense against the citizens and the people of this nation for the United States to be able to do that, right? They should not be held guiltless. But how many of the people watching, how many of the people standing behind him and the people in their room is still going to be some patriotic ass motherfuckers? They're going to be still waving that little flag that you see back there. They're going to still chant USA at a sporting event, the Olympics and all kind of other bullshit. Yeah. We a bunch of sheeple, y'all. As a nation, we are a bunch of sheeple. We scared of the government. And we love it. Y'all love getting ramshacked and not wiggling y'all booty or trying to fight back or nothing.
Understand, she walked across the border. This was not a stealthful act. And then they gave her free travel, free housing, free food, free medical care. All why people from the hurricane are still waiting for help. Let me read in English, and then we're going to play the video clip she agreed to do if we'd use another name. When I passed through immigration, they sat me down and explained to me all the benefits I was eligible for. I was told I could apply for government assistance. I could apply for health medical insurance for my son, and I could apply for food assistance. After I finished talking to immigration, a short time passed until a DNA test was done on me and my son to prove that he was my son. Then they set me down with other people who were also waiting and had already qualified to be released. Then they explained to us that the documents we had in our hands were our personal identification in the United States, and we could use the documents to travel on buses and airplanes. They also explained to us that we could use those documents to apply for our documents to become legal here. And after that, they explained all of the benefits, they said, "Welcome to the United States of North America." And from there, they transported us to a refugee camp. And all of this occurred in one day. So welcome to the United States. This is someone who just crossed the border illegally and to commit crime. And they were not only welcome to the United States, but then they were giving all kinds of benefits at the cost of the taxpayer. So let's listen to her in her words, and then we'll move on from there to other topics.
Bueno, cuando pasé, me sentaron, me explicaron todos los beneficios que tenía, que podía recurrir a ayudas del gobierno, podría recurrir a seguros para el niño, seguros médicos, podía recurrir a ayuda para el bebé solamente, ayuda de comida. Y allí, bueno, después que terminamos con las personas, pasó un ratito que me hicieron la prueba de ADN para ver que mi hijo, o sea, no, era mi hijo, pues para comprobar que era mi hijo. Y después allí me sentaron en unas sillas con las otras personas que habían calificado ese día para salir. Y ahí nos explicaron que los documentos que estaban en nuestras manos, pues era como nuestra identificación aquí en Estados Unidos, que con eso podíamos viajar en bus, en avión, que con eso podíamos sacar nuestros papeles más legalmente aquí. Y después que nos explicaron todo eso de las ayudas y toda la cuestión, pues nos dijeron bienvenidos a los Estados Unidos de Norteamérica y ya decidimos llevarnos a un refugio y salimos de migración.
Now understand there are 4 women listed here as human trafficking victims that were smuggled across the border in addition to her. 2 of the human trafficking victims admitted they had to pay off a coyote debt of $6,000. Make no mistake about it, the government is complicit and is aiding and abetting human trafficking in the United States because they're creating an environment for people to start out here at more than they amassed where they came from. In addition to that,
I'll take it a step further. They're not just aiding and abetting by being complicit. They're literally aiding and abetting. The United States government is part of the occult. The people at the top and the elite people who are in bed with the United States government, they are a cabal. And they follow Baal. And they do all manners of perversion right in the White House. Yep, I said it. I'm sorry, y'all. I got messages coming in. I'll get back to that.
there is a wide open border where fentanyl is coming across, and that is encouraged. And as a result of that, we have thousands upon thousands of people dying in the United States. And then the best that our federal politicians can say was, well, it didn't kill as many people this year as last year. I don't even need to comment more about that. All the while, we have people that are suffering that have not received help yet from the federal government as a result of the hurricanes in North Carolina and in Florida and Polk County. The aid's not come through yet. There are people, irrespective of the hurricanes, in this nation that need help, that need support, but they don't get that support that these folks get for coming across the border illegally. When are we going to get tired of this? When have we had enough? When have we said, when are we going to say the hardworking people in the United States are who we need to be taking care of? Not creating an environment and encouraging people to come across the border illegally in violation of federal law, and then welcoming them to the United States and showering them with gifts at the taxpayer's expense, while people in our own nation are not receiving what they should receive. And here's the human trafficker we were able to arrest. Travis Hutchinson, he's 25. He lives in Davenport. He was dealing with two females, one from Colombia and one from Venezuela. Now, the Colombian came to Mexico, to California, and then to here. She was recruited by a coyote who took her to the border and said, all you have to do is walk across. Understand, the coyotes weren't even having to smuggle or hide them in vehicles and bring them across the border late at night. The coyote now rounds you up, takes you to the border and says, walk right through here and go into that processing center. Well, our Colombian victim and our Venezuelan victim of human trafficking met there. And then they were flown from California to Florida. Now, Travis was here. He was talking to the coyote in California who said, I'm sending them to you. And they had to work to pay off the debt. Travis would set up the appointments. They were having to turn as many as 20 tricks a day apiece in order to pay off their debt. So they were paying the coyote debt off. They were then paying Travis, and he was setting up all of these operations. Oh, they can even use Cash App if you don't have cash.
That's a direct.
It's amazing to me. So
why would you leave
Travis,
him?
when they
Hey, check this out, y'all. Don't put no timestamp on your fuck shit. What do I mean by that? A timestamp, a video, a digital receipt, an audio, anything that somebody who wasn't there to witness it in real time can go back and pull up and have evidence that it happened. Don't leave no timestamps on your fuckery. You want all your fuckery to be on between you and God and whoever it was that was involved in it. And then once it's over with and it's done, as far as everybody else concerned, it never happened. It's hard to do that in this day and time, but shit, I don't put no timestamp on my fuck shit.
Would refuse or say, I'm tired, I don't want to do this anymore, he would slap and choke one of our victims and threaten them if they did not get out and go back to work. It is exciting. If this operation had only involved his arrest, it would have been a success. But let me go over a few more of the arrests. Now, what would a autumn sweep operation be? What would any of our undercover operations be where we're dealing with human trafficking, prostitution, child predators without Disney? We always arrest Disney employees. This is Eubanus.
Oh, yeah.
Muta. He's 28 from Davenport. He's a wood carving artist when he's not soliciting prostitution.
Why did he say we always arrest the Disney employees? That little sidebar. Like, what the is going on up at Disney? I'm gonna have to go and do a whole piece on them. See?
This is Kyle Widmeyer. He's 20 from Philadelphia. He works as a custodian for Disney. He said he just moved to Florida at the end of September from Philadelphia. Well, Kyle, welcome to Florida. Welcome to Polk County. Welcome to the jail. And there's Juan Albino. He's 35. He's from Haines City. He works backstage utilities. Oh, by the way, he's married.
It's real easy to go to Florida. I'm telling you.
And of course, being patriotic,
walking down the street, slip and fall, and land in the jail cell.
Military members. Juan Barrio, who's 47. He's a disabled vet. He was born in Colombia. Norrell Cooper from Orlando, Navy Reserve supply clerk. He's stationed in Jacksonville. Then there's Alejandro Parra. He's 20 from Davie, Florida. He's a paralegal in the Army, stationed in Orlando. You know what he told us? I literally do this at my job, meaning he processes papers for soldiers that are arrested. Well, heck, when he bonds out, he can go process his own paperwork. You know what I mean? And then I always like to point out the loyal husbands who leave their wives or fiancés at home while they have sex. So here's Lee Anthony Williams.
Wow.
He was arrested on Friday, October the 4th.
Throw him under the bus.
Just before he was to get married on Tuesday, 4 days later. The fiance was out of town at the time, and hey, he had some spare time on his hands. What can you say? You know, his quote was, I hope she doesn't find out. Well, newsflash, it's going to be on every station, on social media. You know, she's going to find out. Then there's Jonathan Webster. He came all the way from the UK, from England. He was here on a 2-week vacation with his fiance, and his fiance thought he was going to Walmart.
Something tells me that, was he a John or was he one of the, I think he was a John. Okay, he might have been a John. Because I was going to say, something tells me that this shit is connected internationally anyway, but yeah.
Well, it was a Walmart of sorts. It was a Walmart of sex, a Walmart to get caught. But Jonathan's fiance now knows that he wasn't at Walmart. He was at Grady Mart. Dominique Price, 30, from Mineola. His fiance is pregnant. He told her that he was going to the gym for a little exercise. I guess you could call that exercise. He was arrested on Friday, October 4th, but that's okay. He had 2 days to bond out before the baby was due on Sunday. And then there's always the previous sting arrest. You know, Tommy Thomas, 28, from Haines City, he was arrested in 2019. He said, hey, I had such a great time getting arrested by the sheriff's office and the team of detectives from the police departments. I think I'll go back and get arrested again. So that's what happened. And then Jose Perez says, well, you're not by yourself. I'm 38. I'm from Haines City. And he was arrested in 2017. His wife thought he was at work. Then there's Evans Joseph Jr. He was a prostitute, not a John. He was arrested in 2022 for offering to commit prostitution.
Yeah, that boy looked like a he-she.
And then this was kind of one of my favorites, so I gave him his own card by himself. Darren Sandiardo, he's 43, he's from Brentwood, New York. He's a volunteer firefighter, has been for 25 years. He's here on vacation. He's married with a 5-year-old son, charged with solicitation. So there you go. But in addition to our human trafficker, if we only made these 3 arrests, it would have been a success. Because you see, in addition to a human trafficking operations, we're also doing a child predator operation. These 3 folks traveled to the undercover location thinking they were going to have sex with a child. That's right. These are what we call pedophiles.
They fit the description
dangerous child sex predators. Michael Gillis is from Eden Prairie, Minnesota. Now, there's a story about that. He was arrested in Minnesota for trying to have sex with a 14-year-old little boy. Not only was he arrested for trying to have sex with a 14-year-old little boy, but he was out on an $85,000 bond from that charge. So he came to Orlando to work as a videographer. And he thought, well, you know, I'm out on bond. Heck, let me go see if I can pick up a 14-year-old in Florida. And that's what he did. He showed up at our operation, and he was promptly arrested again for trying to have sex with a 14-year-old little boy, where he was put in jail on a $72,000 bond and required to have an ankle monitor. Well, you would think Minnesota would revoke his bond and say, hey, if you're out, you've got children at risk. But, you know, he hasn't been to trial yet.
No, they wouldn't, because the government is the reason why this stuff is happening so much, right? Y'all want to make all this perverse stuff legal and all this ungodly stuff legal in this nation and hand this nation over to Satan in a handbag. Well, this is what come with it. You play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. You lay down with dogs, you wake up with fleas. Motherfucker, y'all know all the cliches. They true. The fuck? It's the government's fault. This is Babylon.
They haven't even revoked his bond. Minnesota's not even trying to arrest him. Now, we're working with the police up there that are working very hard to try to get him rearrested on their charges. Because after all, he didn't make his October 10th court appearance in Minnesota because he was tied up here. Now he's out on a bond wearing an ankle monitor, and he can't leave the state. So I don't know how he answers to the charges up there until he answers to the charges here. But at the end of the day, he made admissions to us. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the classic example. If these child predators are not locked up, children are in danger. And you would think that he would be afraid or scared or worried from his arrest in Minnesota doing the same thing. He would at least behave for a while. No, he comes right back to Florida and does the same thing. And then there's Ezekiel Mija from Haines City. He's here illegally. So here's an example. I want the current administration, the federal government, to understand, because you encourage, because you don't have any border security, that you are not only allowing but encouraging illegal people to come into this country to commit crime, to include child sex predators. He came here illegally, and his goal was to find a 14-year-old child and have sex with her. And that's what he was trying to do if it weren't for our great detectives that stopped it. They travel, folks. They actually showed up at a strange house in a strange community, in a strange neighborhood, in a strange county to have sex with a child. That's how dangerous. And he told them during his communication with what he thought was a 14-year-old child, you know, I could get in big trouble if I get caught. Ooh, you think? Oh, by the way, did I tell you he's married with a 7-year-old daughter? And he sent his wife and daughter to North Carolina because of the threat of the storm. And he thought, hey, my wife and daughter are gone. The storm's not here yet. I'll just go see if I can have sex with a 14-year-old little girl. And then there's Brandon Orr. He's 28 from Kissimmee. He tried to have sex with a 14-year-old little girl. Newsflash, he is a lifeguard at Disney Art of Animation Resort. So he gets to be a lifeguard and sit up and look at children all day long while Disney's paying him. Did I tell you he's engaged to be married too? His wife, his future wife, can do what she wants, but I'm just thinking through this. You may want to go try to find you somebody else that's not a pedophile, not a child sex predator, because he's going to prison for a long time. We're going to do our best because our state attorney, Brian Haas, is the very best. His team is the very best. We're going to try to put them in prison for a long time. So I'm going to start with the chiefs, and then we're going to have our NGOs speak to you for just a second.
Good morning. My name is Steve Parker. I'm the chief of police for the city of Davenport. You know, and I look at these pictures and these numbers.
Enough of that. Let's continue to scroll. So we see what's going on with that, right? Next. I don't really care about this South American theft group right now. I think this holds priority over that.
Head into a polarized election season.
Right.
I particularly like their blind spot feed, dedicated to showing news stories that are underrepresented in mainstream media. So I encourage you to check them out at ground.news/SWU. Subscribe through my link.
It wasn't going to seem true because it was just too much. It was too
because of all the scandalous parties.
Let's see what she talking about.
I accidentally mentioned it too. Like it slipped out.
But P. Diddy.
About P. Diddy.
From Los Angeles.
You went to one of his parties.
Yeah. Crazy party.
And he's in the news now because of all the scandal.
And they didn't believe me. But when it started coming out,
Look how nervous she is, y'all. Now, everybody gets butterflies certain times and certain shit, right? She don't seem shy to me by far, right? She don't seem uncomfortable being exposed, right? You can tell she kind of dresses like that on a regular, not just for this show. But she nervous as hell, right? I don't think she's lying. And I ain't even heard what she got to say yet, right? Here's why. Here's why. I wonder if this the same girl from that video. This might be the same girl from that other video that I played who was riding in the car, just not dressed up. It could be her, right? Damn, what is her name? I need to find that other video. My memory too fucked up. That's from smoking all that damn Dodge. But yeah, if she starts talking about the Playboy Mansion, when she starts talking, then I'll know if it's the same girl when she starts telling her story. But I'm gonna get y'all. She's gonna talk about seeing things with different fetish type events, and she's gonna talk about children. She's gonna talk about animals, right? If this is the same girl, and if it's not, and she does, that's further validation. And if she says, no, this is not a freak off, or this is not about sex, but this was a satanic ritual or something like that, then this is not a theory. This is a real conspiracy. See, people love to say conspiracy theory. They don't even know what the fuck they be saying. Oh, that's a conspiracy. What in the hell is a conspiracy? It means that someone is conspiring. You don't think people conspire? That doesn't, something being a conspiracy doesn't make it not true. The problem is when it's a conspiracy theory and it's just a theory that hasn't been proven and it could possibly be wrong. And they try to say that, okay, or paint the picture that it most likely is wrong by calling everything a conspiracy theory. But people who just don't really know, they be like, oh, that's a conspiracy. I know, that's exactly what I'm saying. But they really be trying to disprove it, or not disprove it, but say that it's not a legitimate thing by calling it a conspiracy theory. And they don't even get the theory part of it. They just be like, oh, that's a conspiracy. I don't do conspiracies. You don't do shit because you don't know shit.
people were like mentioning me, like, you were telling the truth about it. And I'm like, duh, I'm not gonna lie about something like that. And I kind of like tried to briefly talk about it because I knew it wasn't gonna seem true because it was just too much. It was too
crazy.
many. It was too crazy. People were gonna think that I was just lying. It had like a lot of people involved, celebrities and stuff. So I was trying to be real vague about it. But that party traumatized me.
How did you get invited to it?
By being with a prince that I met in LA. He lived in Glendale, California. And, long story short, I got out of this crazy little contract and I was looking for somebody to invest in me. And I knew somebody who knew somebody that was like, I want to introduce you to a prince. He know a lot of celebrities, producers and stuff. So I never put two and two together that this prince knew P. Diddy as
When you
the
say
producer.
a prince of what?
He was a Arabian prince.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
And he really was a prince for real. But I wasn't worried about him being a prince. I was worried about who he actually.
Nigga ain't no prince over here. Yeah, prince over there. Fuck them people in his country. Shit, ain't no prince over here.
really knew. So when he invited me to, he met me, he said, I want to invite you tomorrow to Music Ultra Week, whatever. And it's like an event, Ultra Music Week. It's like an event for like 2 weeks where people party, including P. Diddy. And they party at Club Live. They party at like just in South Beach, Star Island, like where P. Diddy stays or throw his freak offs at. And I never knew that we were going to go there because I was there for 2 weeks and I knew it was something fishy. He kept saying, I got a surprise for you. I got a surprise for you. I'm like, but I'm only supposed to stay for 2 weeks and I'm here longer than 2 weeks. And it was almost a month. It was basically a month by then. And he was like, no, because I just want you to meet one special person. So he ended up telling me, like, when we went to Club Live, he was like, guess where we're going tonight? I'm like, where? He's like, to P. Diddy's house. I'm like, oh, really?
I think I literally found like a Google cheat code because this update lets you block ads or get paid to see them. It's called Pi, and once I started using it, I was shocked at how much of my content was actually ads. Like this whole top row on Amazon, ads. But with Pi, I can actually see the content I want to see.
Sorry about
and
that.
the coolest part is that when you
I'm like, that's crazy because I hear a lot about P. Diddy and I'm like, his house for what? Like to go sing? He's like, no, he's throwing this wild party. Da, da, da. I'm like, oh, okay. So we went from Club Live. It ended at like, the clubs end at like 3 or 4 and not 2, like how out here is.
So I'll say, I think this is not the same girl. The other girl said that she was trafficked through Riverside County Child Protective Services while in foster care. So wouldn't do no prints or nothing like that. But the other girl doesn't necessarily favor her, but she looked like kind of, it could be her with makeup and stuff on if you're not, familiar with them like that. That's why I initially couldn't tell.
So we waited around the mansion, the Prince's mansion, for about an hour. And then as soon as 6:30 hit, we went. We all got in the car, like a big Uber, and me and all the other girls. Now, mind you, I'm the only Black girl. So I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm about to meet P. Diddy. Oh, like, I'm probably going to have to sing for him. Da, da, da. And I just tried to, like, keep my composure. So we get there, and that's when stuff got weird. And that's why they lock up our phones, because they know what we see in there, it's he can get in trouble like right now. So basically, we arrived, security guard patted us down. They put our phone in this little bubble case. So the bubble case is closed. They can't get unlocked until we walk out. So as we're in there, the only way of us taking any type of pictures is if we get in the photo booth. He has like a Team Love photo booth or whatever. Take like 4 pictures. So I, got pictures. I still got everything in my Snap too, like of the photos, everything. That's all you could get. So I'm walking around or whatever. So one of his sons, I'm not going to tell you which one, but it was like recruiting like whoever they wanted to go inside the house. Cause the freak off is inside the house and in the backyard. So you have the pool and they're playing loud house music. Like, Mark, the house music, it makes you feel kind of woozy, first of all, because it's like a rave or something. Dun, 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 and it's real loud. So you can't really see nothing, but you're seeing everybody like walking around, drunk, hopping around. It's still. There's a reason why they play that type of music. There's a reason why. We ain't got time to get all into that, right? But that's done for a reason. 7 a.m. So the sun is like coming up and people are walking around naked, period. Let's get into it. They're walking around naked already, and they're in the pool skinny dipping, and they're drinking mimosas in the pool, but then it's like a waitress walking around giving people drinks, just passing people drinks, and people are just taking them. Me, I don't drink like that, but I'm like an occasional drinker. Like I'll drink if we're partying or whatever, just for that occasion. So, because people are going to keep saying, drink, drink, drink. But I didn't take a drink yet. But I just had it in my hand. So one of the sons seen me walking. Mind you, I'm with other girls, but we split up. So I was walking with one girl. She's a Puerto Rican girl. So P. Diddy's son was like, you. And I'm like, me or her? And then he was like, no, you. Come here. So I went to him and he gave me some shoes. So these shoes was like some terry cloth, like robe shoes, white shoes. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do with these? He was like, go in the house with these. He was like, everybody who gets these shoes, you get to go in the house. But I'm thinking you could just go in the house if you want to, but everybody can't go in the house. They're literally selectively picking who they want. So I'm like, well, what about my friend? He was like, no, only you. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm holding the shoes. I'm walking around. I'm a good loyal friend. I'm not going to go inside a house where they say my friend can't go. So we just walking around mingling. But we tripping out, looking at everybody like they off everything smoking and jumping around like hooligans. And so I seen P. Diddy or whatever, and I seen him with the Prince. I'm not gonna say what he was doing, but something really, I get real nervous. Something real crazy, because I don't like to really expose people. I could talk about me, but when it's about like me, my family, because it's us.
Baby girl, you exposing them. At a time when he on trial, you come and do a show like this and say you don't like to expose people. Lord, this morning. But yeah, he was doing something with the principal. So they some yeah. Okay.
But when it's other people, bro, doing something real sexual, that's all I'm gonna say.
Enough said.
So that we could see and so that we can get turned on, okay? So he's doing something with himself. And I'm like, girl, do you see him? She's like, yes. But mind you, we're screaming like, girl, do you see him? Oh my God. Because of the music. And I'm just like, whatever. Then he starts to act like really obnoxious, like, I'm the king of the world, jumping around, doing all this stuff. So I'm like, okay, that's regular P. Diddy shit. But what got me was how he walked up to me and was like, why are you not in the house? And I'm like, what do you mean? He like, how are you enjoying my house? So we had a little talk or whatever. He started talking about all these things. Oh yeah, you're the one that, I seen was telling me about the Prince. He's like, oh yeah, it's very nice to meet you. Like your life is not going to be the same. Da 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 da. We started talking about going to Cuba. Are you going to Cuba with us? I'm like, what? And that's the thing. I didn't really know about this. So this is when I start asking around or whatever. And I said that in the last interview. But to get to the point, I ended up going in the house because he was on me, like, go in that house. I'm like, okay. And then the person that he was dating at that time, we're not going to say her name, but we all know, she came and was like looking at him like, what are you doing? Because he was talking to me for too long. So she came to like rub on his shoulders or whatever. And he just pushed her. And I'm looking like real uncomfortable, like, oh, I know what this is about. I don't want to be in the middle of there, whatever. So that's what made me go into the house, because I'm like, okay, let me just go in the house. So I told my friend, like, wait right here, girl. Let me just put on these shoes, see what this house is about. Walk up in there. I don't judge people because at the time I was just smoking weed. But you know when people are out of their mind, and you know when people, you know what you don't want to be a part of. And it's just like, I'm seeing stuff that you see on the movies. This corner, this got going on. This corner, they over here doing this. This corner, they over there having sex. This corner, I'm just going to say, because I don't know what I can say, because I'm not trying to be incriminating myself, but they were dressed up like little Harajuku Barbies.
Like what?
Little people, okay? We're not going to say what type of little people, but like
Children.
a fetish. And I'm looking like, what are they doing here? Like dressed up, little red lipstick, like they weren't supposed to be there. But
But you don't expose people though. But you don't judge. Girl, look at her. I guess when you got that much going on, you probably can't. But anywho, same thing the other young lady said. She said they had fetishes and stuff going on with body fluids, BLOOD, same sex, this little area right here, four-legged creatures, this little animal right here, area right here, all that. And this sounds eerily similar.
I'm just looking like maybe it's some type of production going on. But why would they be at this party at 7:00 in the morning with grown people? Like, why would they be here? So I was just like, okay, whatever. Like, but then when I'm looking in this corner, this person laid out, and I'm looking like, what's going on? Then I'm seeing like Instagram models or whatever. I'm like, oh, hey. So I'm kind of getting distracted, feeling like kind of comfortable. Like, she's here. Oh my God, she's here. And then I see P. Diddy, walking through the house, like with his eyes on me. Like, like, is this, you see, like, are you agreeing with this? And I don't. Now, mind you, I still got my friend out there. So I walked out of the house and I'm telling her, like, oh my God, bitch. Like, this nigga oh my God, she like for real? But I'm just like, I'm not even tripping. Like, oh, well, like, this nigga's weird. Like, so I'm really looking at the situation like, I don't even want to be involved in this type of stuff, because once I see something, I can't get it out of my mind. And I'm like a hypochondriac. Like, I keep on having flashbacks about it. So whatever. So of course I come out And then here he goes again. And another rapper, well-known rapper, comes and starts feeling on me like, hey, you. So now it just seems like everybody is faded at this point. They're either drunk or on all the drugs, obviously, with this house music. So now I just feel like trapped in. Like, I don't like it. And I know the devil when I see it. Because by me being so spiritual and tapped in, I know when something is not right. I'm not just
Spiritual and tapped in. Girl, stop. Yeah, you saw the devil. You might be spiritual and tapped in, but what spirits he tapped
judging, but I just don't want to be a part
into?
of it, because how am I going to get out of this shit? Like, I'm already here. And then I heard conversations or whatever. And then P. Diddy was like, that's the one that I want.
Y'all, here's some news that'll put some money in everyone's pocket. Every American is able to pocket these spending cards that are loaded with
I want
He finna put that sick dick on you.
her. So now I feel like, you know, they plotting on me. Like, did you bring me here on purpose? Like, is this the, you know, producer you was talking about? And I came here specifically with the Prince to rub elbows with people, to network for the music week. But then I put two and two together, like, the Prince have been saying your life.
He recruited you. Look, you're gonna rub more than elbows and you're gonna get some neck work, not no motherfucking neck work. Oh, you in the net.
It's never gonna be the same. You're gonna be happy. Somebody's expecting you. And I just feel like that was the time that I was gonna get sex trafficked or, you know, drugged or something like that. And then they kept trying to make me, like, I've been around celebrities before. If a rapper wants you or somebody wants you, they're not going to do it. They're going to send somebody else to do it. So if a waitress is coming or another girl or a pretty girl or a guy, they'll sick somebody on you. Like, take this drink, do this, do that. And then you just feel eyes on you, like watching to see if you're going to do it, when you're going to do it. So I already know what time it was. And it's crazy because I had to leave that place. In my last interview, I told you I had to escape. I had to leave from the Prince because he was telling me we was leaving for Cuba the next day. Cuba with who? With P. Diddy or what? Like, this is all crazy. So to see all of this stuff come out, and I escaped by leaving. I had to call the police and everything. I had to leave with the Prince. That's another story. From the Prince, from that house. I didn't leave with the other girls. I had to get my phone unlocked, of course. But like, I had to like catch a taxi, not even an Uber, a taxi to another location, and then I ended up going to the airport, and I ended up leaving because I just felt bamboozled. First, I'm getting lied to about how long I'm supposed to stay there. Then you keep talking about I'm supposed to meet this producer, but we're not talking about nothing with music, but you're talking about going to Cuba. We didn't even do what we were supposed to do in Miami, or did we do what we were supposed to do in Miami at this freak off? But because I'm not cooperating with what I see, and I feel like that's what the Illuminati and stuff is about, like a secret society. Like, they want to see what you allow, what you cool with, and then next thing you know, boom, take that drink, you're drugged. Take that, you're out of it. Take that pill, because everybody was off something, but you had to be being in that environment like that.
How many people were at this event?
Like hundreds. Even when it was a certain amount outside, but in the house was really crowded. You know what I'm saying? And you would think that, like, it was more people in the house.
And you walked around?
Yeah, I walked around for about 5 minutes. I seen what I need to see. And I was like, no, ma'am. No, sir. Because it was like selling your soul at that house. And if you like that, it's nothing to you. But if you're not like that, you're going to feel uncomfortable. And then it's like, at first, I used to think P. Diddy was like, so he always talk about team love and all of this stuff. Like, he's all about, no, he all about sex, himself. And I know sex because I've dealt with men, Mark. So I know when somebody is trying to lead you on to stuff and sitting back, acting like he just this macho man And he is a charmer though. That's one thing. Like he will charm the fuck out of you. But for me, that's so game tight. I'm like, I know what this is. And I'm ready to get to the music. Like, if that's the case, you should have been like, don't tell me you about to change my life and da-da-da. And, oh, have you been writing? Oh, that's another thing too. He was like, have you been writing the songs that I seen been telling you to write? Because the Prince wanted me to write out all the songs I ever made in my life. I said, without the beat? He's like, yeah, just start writing songs. So you never know. They'll take my music, drug me, fuck me, do whatever, and just throw me away,
That way,
basically. Or
yeah.
after you have something on me, when we do the music, you have that on me that this happened, and now I'm blackmailed or some shit like that. So touching all on me at that party, even the rapper who touched all on me, like that rapper was cool. Like I was liking that rapper. But when they were like, hey, you and doing all that, what can I do? All I could do is just say, like, move his hand, like, oh, I'm fine, but, you know, trying to, like, still be cool. But I'm like, why do everybody feel comfortable to just touch on you? Even P. Diddy, like, why I look up and you're right there? And then, like, in my face, like, are you, like, in my house? Like, it's weird. Like, looking at him, it's like when you're a kid and you're getting in trouble by your parent and you can't look them in their face. And it's like a demon. I'm telling you, like this dark spirit, like he possessing you as he's looking at you, that power, that control. So I'm like, I read The Art of Seduction, motherfucker. I know what you're doing. And you're trying to really seduce me right now. And, oh, take a drink. Oh, no, do this, do that. Go in there. Like it's just not nothing. And I want to know why me go in the house and why not the girl? So now you're.
Because of the spirit that's on you. You said you were spiritual, right? Being spiritual don't necessarily mean you're of the Most High or that spirit is of the Most High. I see a spirit, right? I recognize it. I've had run-ins with it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you got a spirit too. And you give off a certain vibe. I'm sorry, little mama, I don't mean to insult you, little Miss Tanea, but you give off a certain vibe that will lead a person to believe that you might be down with it because you look the part. You look like a siren. You look like a succubus. You look like a woman of the night, a temptress.
You're picking and choosing. So it's fishy to me. So when all this stuff started coming out, I was like, I knew I was right. I knew it. Like, it ain't no doubt about that. P. Diddy was doing all that. And like I say, I don't judge because I've been around people doing cocaine. But these hard drugs that they was doing and just, I ain't gonna lie, it was orgies and stuff going on. So all of this stuff going on, I'm like, why is people doing stuff all in the open? Like, that's just offending me and assaulting me, period. Because where am I at? I didn't sign up for this. And how can I really get out? So I had to like ease my way on out. You know, it's security, but they not caring about what happens as long as that phone is closed. They damn near don't care if somebody died up in there. Ain't nobody can film it.
And there were famous people or not?
It was a whole bunch of famous people.
Yeah.
Like 4 famous people and then some Instagram models. Mm-hmm. And the whole time he just was like trying to undress me with his eyes. And I was thinking like, this is really no cap. Cause at that time, you know, I always been skinny. So at that time, the son who came up to me, I was like, boy, is it because I resemble your mom? Like, you know, like Kim Porter, like stuff like that. Like, you just never know. Like, I feel like, you know, P. Diddy does have a type. Yeah. I feel like.
We know which son it is now. Thank you. She said she wasn't going to say which son. Bruh. The first son, Quincy, is not his biological son. That's Kim Porter's son by Al B. Sure, right? The second son is by the other lady who used to do their hair, right? Who used to be the hairdresser, who's in the Big Papa video in the, is it Mika? Anyway, yeah, who had the blonde look? Yeah, The other last son, I think that last son is by Kim Porter. So it's definitely not, it's either Christian, which is the last son by Kim Porter, or Quincy, because their middle son is not by Kim Porter. So Is it Quincy or is it Christian?
Like everybody that was
Justin, that's the middle son. She's not talking about Justin. It's either Christian or it's Quincy.
in that house, it was a certain type of person.
Depending on what year it was, it might have been Quincy. Depending on what year, because Christian is significantly young.
And it was a certain type of something that he wanted and what he liked. And you could just tell like he get whatever he wants. That's why he has no problem touching on you, being all in your face, popping up on you, being obnoxious, and just hounding you until you do what he say. And that's just how the industry is already, especially him, because he got a lot of money, you know?
Because you're a singer as well, right?
Yeah. So they probably like, do you want this opportunity or what? And I'm like, not that damn bad, but I do want it. I do. But if I already got a bad vibe and I'm seeing stuff that you're into, I already know how this is going to be. So I don't want to like, you know, ignore some red flags and then I'll be in trouble because of you. Like literally in trouble. Like we know his past, like Shine, the rapper, you know, being in jail because of him. Like don't think just because I'm from where I'm from, you could just do anything. And that's why I never really said nothing about it because I just felt like, who am I? You know, he got money. Like ain't nobody going to believe me. But I have all the receipts. I have it all in my Snap to this day. It never went nowhere. That was just my experience just being in Miami for the first time. I didn't know that I was going to end up at P. Diddy's house.
Did you take photos outside the house?
When I got my phone back, yeah.
Videos or something?
I took videos when I was going to the house before I knew this was some weird shit. And then when I got my phone, I ended up, recording. And then I had the shoes on.
Oh, you had the shoes.
I left with the shoes on because I don't know where I put my shoes at when I put those on. And it was a lot going on. It was real loud. So I don't know. It just tripped me out. And I was like, is he gay? You know, like, and nothing against gays. I couldn't put my finger.
Look, no, he's not gay. He's trisexual, willing to try any damn thing that they telling me gotta do. They following the order.
I was like, what does this do into? But
9,000, 15,000,
Enough said.
30.
Check this out, y'all. I think on that note, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. This has been a particularly long morning scroll, but it's been particularly interesting. We have yet another account that we can line up with the experience of Bryce Taylor and the last young lady from the video that I shared, who was trafficked by the Riverside County Child Protective Services and ended up at the party at Hugh Hefner's house given by Diddy and explained similar things. This rabbit hole goes so deep, y'all. This rabbit hole goes so deep. But anyway, we're going to continue this at another time. It's been real. I appreciate those who check this out later because, yeah, shalom.